All right, Nick. Coming in a little late. I got to admit, I was just watching the game. I just, quite honestly, I wasn't behind. Just was watching the game, thinking to myself, well, um, it's 2-2. Uh, I'd like to say we could just go live in the 10th at this point, but maybe just
Let's
maybe we can
let's
find a way to
walk.
get
Let's walk.
yeah, maybe we can find a way back to the golden Oreos that are just sitting down here from last night. So there's that. Kind of feels like deja vu, perhaps. We'll see. I'm hopeful we get a good break, some good fortune here. This is becoming more and more maddening every day that the Mets continue to try to give us an opportunity to make something of this, and if we don't find a way to make something of it after what the Mets have done, I don't know.
This one stinks. I really feel like the Reds have had a lot of good at bats tonight against good pitchers all night. I mean, Stephenson was robbed of a 2-run home run.
No, thanks, Sadak.
I guess
Really?
we're synced pretty well.
Really nice of you.
Oh, I didn't even. I'm just assuming I have the radio on. I'm just assuming he said he's thrown 5 straight balls.
No, he said that this in a very, very disheartening way. He dropped this game feels very much like the game last night. Yeah.
I'm probably ahead of you.
Stephenson hits a home run.
Let's go. Let's go.
Nice. All right.
All-star closer. What a night for Tyler Stephenson. Should have had 2 home runs.
Nice. All right.
Oh, he enjoyed it too. Oh yeah, I gotta run the Twitters right now too. Andrew went to bed.
I can't believe Tyler Stephenson just hit that home run.
Chris Welsh was all up. I mean, if you had the radio on, Chris Welsh literally spoke it into existence. Said Tyler Stephenson hitting 375 against fastballs this year, tops in Major League Baseball.
That ball was absolutely smoked, too. All right. Well, we still got to get 3 outs.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that just happened. We actually hit home runs tonight.
Should have been 4 home runs tonight in Petco Park. Crazy what happens when you put Benson and Stewart in the lineup.
I mean, genuinely speaking, how can you sit here and act like there's not really many other ways to play this game?
I mean, these pitchers are so good. Like Robert Suarez, your chances of getting 3 straight hits off that guy is tough. But you know what? He might make a mistake pitch and you can smack it. He supplies the power, as they say.
He supplies the power. Well, he supplied the power there. That's for damn sure. I can't believe that, man.
All right.
Well, this gives us a chance here.
It has to be Emilio, right? Because Santion's pitched 3 days in a row.
Yeah, it's gonna be Emilio.
Gavin Sheets, Reds killer, Ramon
Gotta throw
Laureano,
strikes, man.
and Jackson Merrill. I mean, you're through Tatis and Machado, but I mean, it's still not Sheets, Laureano, Merrill. Yeah.
It's begun.
Solo home run can't beat you.
No, just throw the ball over the plate. If he walks the first leadoff hitter again, I just. You ever tried Oreos and water, Nick?
I cannot say that I've tried Oreos and water.
Yeah, in water.
Some of the chat said leave Phillips in, and I don't
know. No way.
Now Phillips pitched yesterday too.
Not even that.
No, I mean you have.
I'm not. I'm like maybe I'm like overly protecting him, but it's like I'm trying to get that guy to believe that he's that guy.
That
he has thrown the ball well, and I am not ruining that at all right now.
Yeah. All right. Come on.
Anyway, I am using milk, folks, but I also would say there was one point where someone did suggest it in water, and I gave it a shot one time, and it's actually pretty legit. Not as good as milk, but just saying. All right, here we go. Day. There you go. Fastballs over the plate.
Let me see if we can sync this. All right, give me a pitch clock.
I'm 1-1.
Yeah, I'm 1-1. I paused it at 5. You're gonna get it about at 8.
Okay. I feel like I'm like 6 seconds behind you based off your reaction. 8, 7, 6, 5.
Bang.
4. Set. Pitch. Fly out.
There you go. Yep. Play to the park. Play to the park.
Throw it down the middle. Try him with the White Russian, says Felons. Now, I got to tell you, that's an elite comment. Might try that at some point. Back to baseball. While we have a second, Putrid Talent, member for 4 months of Nutcutter Nation, said small ball wins games. Says our 3 homers on 5 hits.
Should be 4. Should be 4.
You're not going to let that die, are you?
No, I mean, of all seasons, too, to try to stretch anything out power-wise, we're going to stretch it out tonight.
Mike Dean says, my wife saw Littell pitching, asked me when Yukon Cornelius started pitching for the Reds. Also, she asked if Nick has a registry link for baby gifts. So there you go, Nick.
Oh, I don't think you're allowed to on baby number 4. I think
That's
you're just
2 outs.
Oh, come on, Emilio.
That's 2 outs, folks. We got 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. A 4-2 lead. I feel like Cowboys had a couple like hot mic situations tonight. Not like overly hot, like he's just like a half second. It's like a half second situation where he's like pushing a button and it's not working fast enough.
Oh, love that swing.
Good pitch. Wow, the guy is 2 for 3 with a triple and a double today, so let's not act like he's has no chance here. Beautiful. Tag him. Game over. Reds win. Reds win. Reds win. We'll talk about what it means here in just a few minutes. Reds do win. It's kind of a big deal. Some are saying a huge deal. Reds win.
And a bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. And the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. It's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead, 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling, and the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatterberg's a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club. Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my. That is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb. Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again. The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Reds win! Reds win!
It's Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first. And Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
As soon as you think you're dead and gone and you're down and out, here come the Cincinnati Reds to try to steal your heart yet again. I don't know if I am just completely insane, which I think at this point I might be. But I must admit, during the 3-minute intro there, I was kind of digging in to see if we had the tiebreaker over the San Francisco Giants. Am I all the way back, Nick? I don't know if I'm all the way back. I am thankful that they found a way to win this game because it was going to become very disheartening that the Mets continue to absolutely just fall apart, and we have yet to take advantage of it. It is going to be either one of two things at the end of this year. We are going to find ourselves asking, how in the hell did we make the playoffs? How in the absolute hell did we make the playoffs? Or we are going to be absolutely ripping our hair out, if we have any, trying to ask ourselves how in the world we were that close to making the postseason and all of these things went wrong in all of these games that we had a chance to win. Tonight felt like one of those games, Nick, that they had a chance to win and they weren't going to. Maybe it was just the pessimism I have creeping in. But they found a way to win. And, Nick, I don't want to overblow it, but I also don't want to understate it. It was a good win. It was a win that keeps the season alive, and that's just kind of where they stand now.
It was a fun baseball game. One of the probably more exciting baseball games to watch, really start to finish all year. And yeah, like this was a game that, man, the Reds had pretty good at-bats all night. I mean, they faced good pitchers. I mean, Michael King has been one of the best starters in baseball for about 2.5 years. And then you go into the Padres bullpen, which is just absolutely insane. And you were robbed of a 2-run home run by Tyler Stephenson. But you found a way to win. And there hasn't been enough of those finding a way to win this year. But you stay alive. That's all you can ask for. And if you're wondering, the Giants tiebreaker, they split 3-3, as I'm sure you probably know by now.
I found that out.
So then you go to your next tiebreaker, which is very interesting because it's record versus your own division. The Giants just won, so they are now 18-20 against the NL West. The Reds are 14-18. So that could still be decided. Reds have a lot of division games. I don't know the Reds' last like 6 games are all division games, right? Last 7. Last.
Yeah, and the Giants also have a good amount of division games left as well. And you can say that it's exciting that they do have to play the Dodgers 7 times. They also have to play the Diamondbacks 3 times, including tomorrow. But they do have the Rockies for the last 3 games of the year. So, you know, I would say it's a toss-up in that category, and it will also be very poetic if there's a way in which somehow we go back to the opening day fiasco of Ian Gibaut blowing the game and being the reason they don't make the playoffs. So, I don't know. We'll see.
They also blew a 5-0 lead in San Francisco too.
Yeah. Well, let's not go there. Tonight they won. The Reds won tonight, and that is what we're going to talk about. By God, we have finally found a way to have a positive show, a show that's kind of makes you feel a little bit good. So let's keep that going. You know, we stayed up late to watch this, and Tyler Stephenson let us feel some joy, which is very, very nice of him. And we will talk about that here in just a bit. If you got anything to get to before we jump into the box score recap, let's do that. As always, the box score recap is presented by Nick Kirby. Take it away, Nick.
All right, Reds taking on the Padres, game 2 of 3 in San Diego. Reds enter the day 2-13 in their last 15 games at Petco Park. Zack Littell on the hill for the Reds. against Michael King. Sal Stewart got a start at first base and batted second. In his first at-bat, he destroyed a home run to straightaway center field, 419 feet, 107 off the bat, 1-0 Reds. Will Benson, how about that? He got his first start since August 1st, and in the second inning, Will Benson destroyed a home run, 409 feet, 108 off the bat, made it 2-0 Reds. Then in the bottom of the second, Will Benson made one of the best catches of the year. He slammed into the wall, hit his head actually against the top of the wall. It was a scary moment there for a minute, but somehow Benson stayed in the game, probably knowing it was his last chance to play maybe in 2025. Top of the fourth, the Reds were inches away from blowing the game open. Tyler Stephenson was robbed of a 2-run home run by Fernando Tatis Jr. Some really good defense out in right field in this one. Zack Littell then had only given up one base runner and retired 11 straight batters entering the fifth. But in the bottom of the fifth, Littell walked the leadoff batter Ramon Laureano. Then Jackson Merrill ripped a triple down the right field line. That made it 2-1. And then Merrill would score to tie the game on a Tatis sacrifice fly, all squared away at 2. The top of the sixth felt like a chance that was going to haunt the Reds. Elly De La Cruz ripped a single at 102 off the bat. Tatis, though, made another great play, cutting off a ball and holding Elly to a single. But then Elly stole second and took third when the throw from the catcher got away. But Elly would be stranded there as Hayes and Lux struck out. Zack Littell finished off a very strong outing. He goes 6 innings, just gives up 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. The Reds went with their youngsters in the bullpen. Zach Maxwell came in the 7th in a 2-2 game. Maxwell's first 3 pitches were not even close to strikes, but he rebounded and got through a scoreless inning where he did not walk anyone. Maxwell also struck out Luis Arraez, who this season has the lowest strikeout rate since Tony Gwynn in 1995. Just Arraez's 18th strikeout of the entire season. Connor Phillips came in the 8th, and he worked around a walk, struck out 2 batters for another big scoreless inning. We go to the 9th. Reds' first 2 batters went quietly. Gavin Lux worked a walk with 2 outs, and then Tyler Stephenson hit a ball that there was no chance of robbing him on this one. Home run to left field, 4-2 Reds, and Emilio Pagan goes 1-2-3 in the 9th. Reds win 4-2 over the Padres. Reds now 73-72 on the season, and the Reds somehow, some way, 3 games back with 17 to play.
Quite literally insane. Here we go. DSC deep drive of the day is brought to you by Will Benson. Will Benson. Now, this might be because Tyler Stephenson hit his home run a little too late. And sometimes, when you're running the 1s and 2s and you got to go and update the entire graphic and those types of things, it might just be too far behind. But I get it. We're going to probably take the farthest one, maybe not the most impactful one. But it is off the bat of Will Benson. That is his 10th home run of the year. 107.9 off the bat. That is flying off the bat. 409 in regards to feet, and win probability would be 68.9%. And if you rounded that up, it would be 69%, which is nice because it's a 10% jump in win probability. DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. And thank you to John and his team for the DSC Deep Drive of the day. Listen, they hit the ball over the fence, man. They hit the ball over the fence today. And it wasn't pretty at times. This offense, once again, found a way to get guys on, get them to third. Elly, as you mentioned in the rundown there, he steals second base. He finds a way to get to third base. You got less than 2 outs with a guy on third base yet again, and they don't get him in. And you just kind of wonder, that is the formula that this team wants to pride themselves on. Yet it feels like that situation is the formula that gets them in the most trouble and leaves you at the end of the game frustrated because they can't produce and they can't find ways to score. But tonight, thankfully, we ran into a little bit of a power surge, Nick. I would say we hit 3 home runs, but I'm gonna say it again. We did hit 3 home runs, but Nick, you can say it now.
Should have been 4. Should have been 4.
Should have been 4. You should just do that all night, by the way. Every time we say that the Reds hit 3 home runs, you should say it should have been 4. So shout out to Tyler Stephenson. Could have had 2 home runs, but turns out the other team had gloves on, and they also played defense. So, listen, I guess at the end of the day, it feels like we're beating kind of a dead horse a little bit here. We're trying to play the same song and dance when it comes to what this offense needs to be, and it becomes ever more apparent, I think, to everybody, I would hope, that this team lacks something specific. And when they get that one specific thing, which is a little bit of pop, their offense is formidable. Their offense can play up to the standards that they need to play at to win games that are meaningful. And tonight, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, the Reds only had 2 runners in scoring position the whole night. They were 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. The Padres were 0 for 6. It's hard. Like, that's the thing. I think people will go, oh, the Reds can't even, they can't even get guys in on third base. It is harder than it's ever been in the history of this sport to get guys in from third base with less than 2 outs because pitchers strike out twice as many batters as when your grandpa watched the baseball game. Like, it's a different game. That's why one swing of the bat changes it. The team that hit home runs tonight won. The team that didn't hit home runs tonight, they lost. It's really that simple. Yes, there might be some games where you have that game against the Blue Jays where you do get 5 hits in a row, but it's not a sustainable method of winning. And yeah, we've been preaching that drum all year, but man, can you just play some of these guys that give you a chance on any given night? It's not going to work every night, but what they've been doing hasn't worked all year.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think that that's the most disheartening thing at times about the lineup is that there are some guys that have the capabilities or the potential to possibly run into a baseball. And I think that many people probably think, oh, there goes the whole Will Benson fan club again. I'm not even really talking about just Will Benson. There's other players that have been on the bench at prolonged periods of time. And we also have a kid that just came up in Sal Stewart who's not played regularly. Like, the one quote that we got when he came up here from Tito himself was that we didn't bring him up here to sit him on the bench. Well, the damned if you didn't. I mean, I don't know what sitting on the bench is for you, but I got news for you. If you only play like half the time, guess what? You sit on the bench. Like, that's kind of who you are. You're more of a bench role type guy. You're not an everyday player. And Sal Stewart certainly seems like he has been a guy that they don't trust enough to put in the lineup every single day. And we have this infatuation with always trying to make sure we put guys in the lineup that, just don't have enough pop, probably more or less, to make a huge impact on a game. Because if they need to make a huge impact on the game, they're going to have to get, like you said, Nick, they're probably going to have to get 2, 3, 4 hits. Gavin Lux is kind of a guy that comes to mind a little bit, and I'm not trying to pick on him specifically, but it's like, late in a baseball game, would you rather see Gavin Lux at the plate or Sal Stewart or Will Benson? Or I'll even keep going, like even Reese Hines. There's guys that make you think that there's a small chance that they're going to run into a pitch and it completely flips the game on its head. And Tyler Stephenson did that tonight. He did that tonight. For all intents and purposes, the 9th inning felt like it was over. I was in shock when he hit it because we have not seen that all year. Like, we've not really seen that type of situation play out in the way it did all year long. And I hopefully, if nothing else, it's a huge wake up call moving forward with either whether it's Tito, whether it's Freddie Benavidez, whether it's I don't know, Brad Mills. I think, is he still on the bench? I don't know anymore at this point. I have no clue. I'm just saying, like, whoever
gave the rest of the season off.
Yeah, whoever
it is quota.
Whoever Tito has in that dugout, I don't give a damn who it is, man. If maybe Derek Johnson could come in and provide some insight, I don't know, but whoever it is that makes these lineups up, if tonight wasn't a little bit of an indicator on what this team should try to maybe push forward, moving forward, man, I don't know. I don't know how it could be more clear, but we'll find out. We'll see. But it was a nice night. It was a good win, and to be honest, the only difference between tonight and a lot of other games this year is they just hit a home run. They hit a couple home runs because they did not get many hits. They did not have many scoring opportunities, like you said. The offense didn't look great, but they scored runs, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, and they were facing really, really good pitching tonight too. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, they didn't look great, but they weren't supposed to look great. You're not supposed to look great when you face Michael King, Mason Miller, and Robert Suarez. You're probably not going to look great in that game, but you found a way to win against a stacked pitching matchup for the Padres. Shout out to Gavin Lux, though. He did walk twice today. He's the only Reds player that walked in the entire game, and obviously had that 2-out walk that even brought Tyler Stephenson to the plate. So I'm a big walk guy, so shout out to Gavin Lux for that. But yeah, I mean, Sal Stewart, obviously, I mean, hitting one straight out the dead center in Petco Park. That's no easy feat. Just crazy. That guy only hit 8 home runs in the minor leagues last year, and he just looks like a bona fide slugger. He's had an interesting career because when the Reds drafted him, the first video everyone saw was him in, I think it was a high school home run derby in Coors Field, just jacking home runs. Then he kind of comes to the minor leagues, and he kind of didn't really have a lot of power, was a really good on-base guy. But then the powers kind of developed, which was kind of what you thought you had. And then you thought he was an on-base guy, and then he kind of found his power here this year, and especially as the year has gone on. Tyler Stephenson, man, that's really encouraging. He's one of the guys that can get hot. I think people sometimes maybe forget that Tyler Stephenson has had some 900-plus OPS months. He's capable of that. And then, yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching Will Benson play baseball. I do not know how there's a soul on this planet that does not enjoy watching Will Benson play baseball for your favorite team. I mean, the guy gives you everything he's got. I mean, that was a scary, scary collision up against the wall. I hope he's in the lineup tomorrow. I guarantee you he ain't saying a word about being sore or anything tomorrow when he comes in.
Yeah, I would be willing to bet that Will Benson, based off of his opportunity history, is not going to be turning down any opportunities. Yeah, I there's people obviously in the chat speculating on what happens if Will Benson was in right field last night instead of Marte and the ball that was hit in right center field with TJ Friedl crashing and Will Benson, obviously, if he was out there, would he have just made the catch, period? It's hard to say. Hard to guarantee anything in those types of situations, but I do think that Will Benson's defense has been completely underrated in regards to what many people would perceptually think about him. He played a great center field, just a fantastic center field when he was given the opportunity when TJ Friedl was out on paternity leave, and he's obviously looked good tonight as well and made some plays, and we'll see what the opportunities look like moving forward. And to be clear, I just want to reiterate, I think there's a lot of people that think that we and I don't want to speak for Nick, but we're on the same page for the most part with this whole thing. Like we don't want people to think that we believe that Will Benson is this great player that just somehow never gets a chance, and if he was playing every single day, he'd be borderline all-star worthy or whatever. I was like, no, that's not really it. It's more or less just that he has clear God-given skill sets that some other guys just don't have that we decide to play. They don't have the speed or they don't have the power. And yes, he might swing and miss more. I don't know. But the one thing that's held this team back, he kind of has a little bit of that. He profiles as a guy that could help in that area. And that's why we ask for it. That's why we wanted to see it. Doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed success. Doesn't mean it's going to be guaranteed to get us to the postseason or anything like that. But it certainly feels like it would help our chances based off of the other alternatives that we're given. So there's that. Littell, go ahead.
One more point on the offense. If you thought there was going to be a night where I was not going to mention that Elly De La Cruz had 3 hard hit balls, you're sadly mistaken, but that was good to see. And good to see that 2 of them were actually elevated. Obviously, Tatis in right field was incredible in this game. I mean, played one of the best right fields maybe I've ever seen in a game. robbed Ellie of extra bases. But that ball was hit 331 feet, 21-degree launch angle. And then he also had a line out at 371 feet at 103 off the bat. So that's good to see. Just hope that it just feels like if he just gets that first home run, maybe there'll be some more come. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little too optimistic on that, but just feels like you got to get to the free throw line and hit that first free throw just to see the ball go through the rim.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen for Ellie, and it just seems like at this point there's just this huge burden on his shoulders right now of my guess of trying to get one to go out. I'd love to see batting practice, really. I'd really like to see batting practice, and I would have loved to kind of be around to have seen what it looked like last year and what it kind of looks like now, and to see if there's still balls that are just absolutely, tape shot measures that I even remember Jonathan India mentioning to the press about how impressive his batting practice is just because of how much raw power he has. I'd like to know if that still is there, because he does have a different style of hitting now. I don't want to speculate and go too far down the rabbit hole of Ellie on a night like tonight, because really I don't know if it's the time or place, but he does the toe tap situation now. I do think maybe he's a little bit more bat to ball friendly with that type of approach. Like he has the ability to maybe to cut down on the strikeouts or put the ball in play a little bit more. But I also obviously am overly concerned that it's zapped a lot of his juice, and it seemingly would be preferred by me to kind of go back to the style in which you might strike out a little bit more for sure, but you're definitely going to have a guy that's going to run into some more pitches that's going to ultimately either be flying off the wall or going over the wall. So we'll see if Ellie can kind of get back on track. I hope that's the case, and if it is, then it gives us a chance. As I said before, we need him just like we need a lot of other guys. And speaking of other guys, Littell comes in, and thankfully he's pitching in a big ballpark, and thankfully that he utilized that to his advantage tonight, and he did not give up a plethora of home runs, Nick, that cost the Reds a situation where they had a chance to win. It's kind of been a little bit of Jekyll and Hyde with Littell with the Reds uniform on, because it feels like on one outing you're like, you know what, this is great. His first outing with the Reds, unbelievably good outing. Tonight, another good outing, but then he's had some that are mixed in between there that were just not good at all, and that's just kind of who he is a little bit. I think he's just going to kind of be a roller coaster type of guy.
Yeah, I was thinking last night. I didn't say it because I did not want to risk jinxing him. I was like, oh, you know what? This is actually a really good ballpark and a team. Padres don't hit home runs. They are the rare team that doesn't hit home runs, that has had success this year. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that their bullpen is just untouchable, except for against Tyler Stephenson tonight, of course. But yeah, I mean, Littell, it's interesting. Like, if you told the Reds you're gonna have a starting pitcher with a 3.78 ERA on the year, would you feel like maybe Littell would be a little bit more like, not as down on by a lot of Reds fans, but he's had a couple just absolute stinkers, which has obviously soured it. But I mean, again, for your fifth starter, I mean, that's a really good fifth starter, and that's what he is. He's only probably got a couple more starts. I mean, I think the Reds might skip him. Not to get too far ahead, they could also skip Abbott at some point if Abbott continues to struggle. Not to be a Debbie Downer on Andrew Abbott, but I haven't really been encouraged with what we've seen from him of late, and there's a track record of him not pitching well late in the season.
Abbott's going to be a question mark moving forward. He's going to have a bounce back type of game before maybe you have a little bit of confidence in him. It's even more damning if he's not able to bounce back, because I think there's a trend now that seems pretty evident that something's happening towards the end of the year, that he just is incapable of producing like he was at the beginning. The bullpen, this really is the storyline, I think, of maybe the night that's outside of the power pop that we got, which is, you got a couple young kids that came in and did a really, really good job, and got the Reds into a spot where they had a chance in the ninth inning to take the lead. Whether you want to go to Maxwell or whether you want to go to Connor Phillips, whoever you feel like you're more impressed with, I don't care. They both did their job, and they both got experience, if nothing else. I was going to say, Nick, like I'm kind of getting to the point where, man, I'm just kind of tired of having all these kind of like moral victories. It's, Cowboy during the broadcast is talking about how unbelievably valuable it is for these young guys to get, meaningful games, that they feel the pressure and they come in and they have to produce out of the bullpen. And I was thinking, that's all fine and well. I'm just not in a mental state right now to appreciate that, because I just feel like I'm getting ready to get my heart ripped out again. But the fact that Tyler Stephenson hit the 2-run home run, you know what? I feel good about it. You know what? Kudos. I'm glad that Connor Phillips and I'm glad that Maxwell threw the ball well. They got some experience under their belt. Let's ride that into 2026, baby. I don't know, but it was at least nice to see. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I'll say I'd rather get to watch Sal Stewart and Will Benson and Zach Maxwell and Connor Phillips than I don't know, with all due respect, Austin Hayes and Scott Barlow. And like, I'd rather at least, if the season's going down, I'd at least like to kind of see guys that you do have some hope for next year. But Zach Maxwell, when he came in, threw 3 straight balls that were not competitive. And my thought in my head was like, oh, here's the Zach Maxwell blow up inning that we've kind of been waiting for. But to his credit, man, he bounced back, did not walk a batter, bounced back from down 3-0. Got some big outs. That's awesome. And then Connor Phillips, one of the best stories right now, I think, going for the Reds. I mean, this guy, when he came up in 2023, he had some really nice moments in September. Obviously, also had a really, really ugly moment, but he had some nice moments as a rookie and in that. And then obviously 2024 just could not have gone worse. And I, like probably most people, kind of wrote him off. Just thought, well, he's just one of these pitchers that, loses his command and career just never gets back on track. But to his credit, Reds moved him to the bullpen. And I remember I watched his very first outing as a reliever. And Tom Nichols was talking about on the Dayton Dragons broadcast, because they started him there because he was coming back off an injury. And Tom Nichols said that Phillips was really excited about this opportunity to be a reliever and seemed like he was really embracing it, and he's done a great job. And right now, I mean, he feels like a guy, I don't want to go too far, but he feels like a guy that could be your next Tony Santillan. Like, remember, Santillan didn't come up till like July of last year, finished the year strong, and then he rode it right into this season. Connor Phillips feels like he could be the next Santillan.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say I hope so, because I think that then it would sound like that would be Connor Phillips' ceiling is Tony Santillan, and there's no disrespect to Santillan in saying that's his ceiling or anything like that. But my hope at one point was Connor Phillips being one of the not corner pieces of the rotation, but let's face it, Connor Phillips had a pretty stark drop off. Quite literally since spring training of 2024, it just did not go well ever since then. And now he's bounced back a little bit, to his credit. It is funny that the 2 stars of spring training of 2024, Nick, and Connor Phillips and Zach Maxwell, who also, by the way, was a guy that gave up quite literally like 4 home runs that went about 425 feet apiece out there in spring training, which is a story for another day maybe. But it is funny on a night like tonight. We're talking about both of them in a very positive light at the big league level. Not even Reds MILB, baby. They're in the show, and they're showing out. It's nice to see that.
Well, in Maxwell's credit, when you saw that, I don't think he had pitched above high A at that point. So he was still very, very young in terms of baseball. He was drafted in 2022. He was drafted. Who just came up? Was he drafted with? Sal Stewart. They were in the same draft.
Okay. Yeah, for those that are wondering, really quick backstory, for those that are wondering what the hell we're talking about, in 2024, we did go to spring training, and there was a situation where Nick got really extremely excited and said, "Oh my gosh, that's Zach Maxwell. He's pitching." He's like, "No one's really ever seen this guy pitch before." He's like, "He's up and coming. He's gonna be one of their better relievers, maybe." And I'm like, okay, well, Zach Maxwell walks out there, very first inning he throws in spring training. I'm not kidding you. Gives up like 4 home runs, and they were all moonshots. I mean, the balls were just flying out of the park. I was like, okay, Nick, yeah, this guy, he looks like he's gonna be that guy. And the Connor Phillips story is a story for another day. If you don't know about that, then I can't help you there. But you just had to be there to know what happened anyway. Yeah, bullpen, great tonight. Emilio Pagan, give him some credit as well. Shout out to Emilio Pagan. I don't know what to say besides the fact that he came out, did his job. And you know what? If he doesn't do his job, it's a shame because everybody acts like, he's the world's worst pitcher. That's maybe what comes with the closer territory. But Emilio Pagan, very, very stress-free save. And I appreciate those. And shout out to him. But the bullpen in total, as Craig had it up there, they went 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, and no runs with 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So there's your line on the bullpen. And listen, it's not easy holding the Padres to 2 runs, and they did it. So kudos to them.
Yeah. And Emilio Pagan, you're just please do not walk anyone. He didn't walk anyone. He threw strikes. I think he threw like 6 strikes to Jackson Merrill. Well, 4, but he was just pumping in strikes to Merrill. Actually, Merrill swung a couple pitches way out of the zone, but nonetheless, they were all strikes.
Yeah.
Thanks. Jackson.
I think the best thing you brought up, but I kind of forgot about, was just the fact that I thought the exact same thing that you thought about with Maxwell. It's like he's got this track record. The track record obviously is that he's going to lose it at some point. He's not going to be able to throw strikes, and those first 3 pitches did not look ideal at all. And sure enough, he kind of found it. And one thing I do like about the old Big Sugar, as they call him, I love his confidence, man. Yeah, I love his confidence. It seems like he's looking for a fight when he's out there, and I appreciate that of him. He's got a little bulldog in him, and you know what? We'll see if that can't translate to more opportunities moving forward, and see if he can't find a way to still have some success. Because it does seem like the list of people that Tito can turn to late in baseball games has shrunk quite significantly.
Well, and like for off-season talk, I've said it a million times, but the last thing you want to do is go put in a bunch of money, the limited money the Reds have, into relievers, because they're so fickle, and you can sign relievers. Rogers, look at him, $6 million.
Yeah, exactly.
He was the guy we were probably most excited about as a reliever. Like, this guy's a sure thing as a reliever can be, and he completely was a dumpster fire this year. Yep. So the last thing you want to do is have to go put in a bunch of money. And Maxwell's looked really good. Phillips looked really good. Luis May, we'll talk about him in a second, has pitched very well down at AAA. That's 3 arms that, man, have the potential to be at least 3 big league arms. Maybe not all of them will be perfect, but could one of them be a legitimate 8th inning guy? Could one of them be like a legitimate 6th inning guy? And I'm just,
right,
and one of them just be, your last guy in the bullpen, but they're all big leaguers. Well, it makes the job this offseason a lot easier if that's the case.
Yeah, and they'll add depth pieces as we go, as we've found out each and every single year. This front office is going to add depth pieces when it comes to the staff in general, and we may run into another Scott Barlow or find another diamond in the rough. Let's face it, Fernando Cruz came out of left field to a certain extent. Never expected him to be as successful as he was, and as crazy as it sounds, we also had Luke Weaver, who just never converted to be a bullpen guy as well. So you don't know where these guys are going to come from. Let's face it. The Yankees, for all intents and purposes, I know it's changed. I haven't followed them closely. I know that at some point, Devin Williams was struggling, and Luke Weaver was throwing the ball well. I think Luke Weaver's struggling a little bit at this point, too. I don't follow them super close. But that just shows you how insane, if you're a Reds fan and have a little bit of history to yourself, it's insane to think to yourself that you're actually going to turn to Luke Weaver over Devin Williams in the bullpen at any point ever in the history of baseball. But that shows you how crazy this bullpen thing can get. And to your point, Nick, maybe it's not the wisest of decisions is to feel like you can go out and get any sure thing in the bullpen. But tonight they did their job, and we are thankful for it. As always, you can turn to 988. You can text and or call day or night. It's an anonymous hotline to get some help in a time of crisis. You can also visit mantherapy.org to get help. That's mantherapy.org. It's okay to not be okay. We have a plethora of super chats, a plethora of them. and we are going to go through them right now. Putrid Talent says, odds we see Benson start again this season. I'd like to say the odds are high for tomorrow. That's what I'd like to say. Do I think that's going to happen? Maybe not. Roth coming in hot again on a night like tonight. Here comes Roth. ATOBTTR. This show is absolute gold, is what he said. Thank you, Michael. Thank you. I could use some positive encouragement. That's very nice of you. Vandy, go ahead.
Will Benson has homered in each of his last 2 starts, separated by about 5 weeks.
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah, so long that if you didn't pay your bills from the last time he started, you'd be in a lot of trouble. Vandy 81 says, back to the doghouse for Benson for no reason. Hey man, super chats are coming in hot for Will Benson on a night like tonight. Thank you, Vandy. Says Ned Flanders. Fangraphs just upgraded the Reds' chances. See, you can't look at Fangraphs, Ned. That ain't gonna make you feel good. It's a bad place to turn to at a time like this. Fangraphs just upgraded the Reds' chances of making the playoffs from 3.2% to 4.2%. But we all know it'll be 100% if Will Benson can stay away from those sharp outfield pads.
And from Tito Francona. The Reds' playoff odds were actually down to 2% back in early June, so double from early June.
That's getting it done right there. Big double. Michael, now if we could just maybe double and then double and then double and then double it one more time, I think that gets us to 100%. I'm not totally sure. Michael Rolfe says it would be very nice if the vegetable people had snagged Mason Miller at the trade deadline. His salary is $765,000 and under Padres control through 2029. Should have sent the entire Dragons roster for him.
I don't know if they would have got him.
Yeah, and on top of that, if we're being honest, the Dragons, man, they just won like 18 of 19 baseball games. The poor people of Dayton would have never gotten to experience that. So I don't know if that's a good deal for the Reds, if we're being honest. They got to sell tickets next year in Dayton as well. And I don't know if they would have sold him if it wasn't for that winning streak. But
on Mason Miller, I mean, the return that they gave up for him was crazy. And the Padres, a lot of people around baseball speculated that the only reason that they gave up that much for Mason Miller is because they're actually going to try to convert him to a starter next year. But I mean, they gave up the number 3 prospect in baseball. The Reds don't even have a prospect. I mean, they legitimately almost gave up Chase Burns plus like 3 other top prospects. Like that's what it would have probably. The Reds would have had. I think the Reds would have had to put Chase Burns to beat the deal for Mason Miller. I think people have to realize that the Padres get the number 3 prospect in the sport. So the only way to beat that is probably Chase Burns.
Yeah, you said the number 3 prospect in the sport, not the number 3 prospect on the Padres or in the Padres organization.
Number 3 in all of baseball. Plus, I think 3 other top prospects, although they also got a JP Sears, a pitcher, in there as well. There was they acquired 2 players, but I mean, right. you would have to throw in Chase Burns. So if you want Mason Miller and you want to give up Chase Burns, then we'll talk. If you don't, there's no point even really talking about that because that's what you would have had to done to beat it.
They were going for it. I mean, I give the Padres some credit. They're going for it, and they realize that they're going to need to be, a damn good baseball team to compete out in the West in the first place. I mean, the Dodgers are really good, no doubt about it. But the Giants aren't bad either. The Giants aren't bad either. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole tonight, but the Giants. I don't want people sleeping on the Giants.
The two teams also were in drastically different spots too at the trade deadline. I mean, the Reds, Padres were 3 games ahead of a wild card spot. I'm trying to look it up here on the fly. They had a 88% chance of making the playoffs. The Reds had an 11. I mean, you're going to give up your Chase Burns with 11% odds to kind of go in this year. The Padres had 88, and the Padres also, they're kind of going to they're probably going to have an expiring team at some point. They have Manny Machado signed until he's 41 years old. That Xander Bogaerts contract, like they know those contracts are not going to age well. Like that's part of their.
Right.
They have to go for it right now.
Well, we'll see how that ends up going. I mean, I think that if they have the luxury or the cash to be able to just not worry about those contracts when those contracts come to be, then we'll see. I mean, it's kind of the same situation of when you sign these crazy contracts with these franchise quarterbacks in the NFL, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's an insane deal." Patrick Mahomes is making how much money, and now Patrick Mahomes is at this point playing on a very team-friendly deal. You just don't know how these contracts end up looking and in 5-10 years from now, because that money might be very negligible. But to your point, Nick, it could be the opposite of that as well. I don't know how the CBA is going to go. I think it's already, the bubble seems like it should burst. I have a hard time believing that Major League Baseball brings in this much money that it makes sense to sign these guys for that much money. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I've not seen the checkbooks, to be fair. No one's opening up the books in Major League Baseball for their professional sports franchise. Derek Brown says, we know our offense is below average at best. Just have to get hot and stay hot. Can we? We will see. Now is the time for a fairy tale season end. Yeah, that's what it's going to take.
You do this long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, you do this fandom thing long enough. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. Boy, oh boy, does it feel like a long time. Some are saying a lifetime. Michael Rolfe says, Sal Stewart's home run flex to his buddy and mentor Machado, one of the coolest moments of the season. Yeah, that was cool. He's flashing his wrist. I like the story with the Rolex there that they were sharing on the broadcast as well. So shout out to them. Putrid Talent said, my wife now automatically throws the show on after games. Only took 2.5 years of never missing a show. Post-game show is now a ritual. Shout out to Putrid's wife. Thank you.
Mrs. Putrid Talent.
That's right.
Let's go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining the club. You know, it's almost like once you jump, though, once you're on the bandwagon, it's hard to get off. You know, you got to stay on, even in the good times and the bad. Phoenix Girl. Shout out to Phoenix Girl. I wish I lived in Phoenix from time to time, especially when it gets really cold. Are you telling me there's still a chance? I think I am telling you there's a chance. I mean, there's definitely a chance. There's definitely a chance. I don't know what our odds were to win. What was it the other night when we finally came back and won in walk-off fashion after we blew the lead? I should know this, but my brain is completely fried at basically 1 a.m.
What was it after the Blue Jays win?
It was the
Blue Jays walk-off. That was last Monday.
Yes, that's who it was.
The Reds' odds were 4.3%.
That's it.
They're up. I don't know. Did it? Maybe let's check the second.
No. I meant. Let me be very clear. I meant, what was their percent chance of just winning that game when they were down? Because when they lost the lead, I'm hoping that you were going to tell me their chances of winning that game were like 4% at some point, and we came back and won. But you're going to tell me it's higher than that, I'm guessing.
I'll dig it out.
You dig that up and you let me know. Let's see here. We got another one from Derek Brown. We got multiple super chats from Derek Brown. Derek Brown's hot. Said Aaron Judge was non-existent in the World Series last year. It happens to even the best in the game. If Ellie, Marte, and McLean, that's another way to spell McLean. Holy smokes, Derek. We have like 5 different ways to spell McLean now, and none of them are right. And I got to tell you, Derek, I love you. That's a great super chat. But that McLean is crazy sauce. That's a crazy McLean. McLean is how you do it. But you know what? Tonight we're gonna honor that McLean. Steps up to the potential we believe is there. Plus some Sal Pop we could slide in. Listen. They are capable of doing it. I don't know if it's going to happen, but they're capable of doing it. Derek Brown chimes in again and says the exact same thing. So I don't know if you're going to ask the super chats of the world to ask for a refund because it just double dipped on you. But I got to tell you, Derek, I'm going to read it again because you paid for it. And that's what we do on this show. We honor people who pay the money for the supers. Derek Brown says, don't hold your breath if you heard this before, Aaron Judge was non-existent in the World Series last year. It happens to even the best in the game. If Ellie, Marte, and Matt Clain, that's a crazy way to spell McClain, by the way. Matt Clain? Man, there's like 5 different ways that people spell McClain. All right, I'm not going to do this bit anymore. Steps up to the potential we believe in, plus there's some Sal Stewart pop we could be in. All right, it's getting late. I'm getting a little goofy. I'm sorry, Derek, but I had to have some fun with the double super chat and that crazy sauce of a spelling of McClain. We have like 20 different supers, guys. I got to go to bed. Holy smokes. We got Sal Stewart on the line. How does the tiebreaker work with us and the Giants since we split? And where do we stand on that? Sorry if you talked about this already. Well, Sal, I had mentioned during the break when we were getting ready to do the show, the intro, I was trying to figure out what the Reds' record was against the Giants. It so happens that they played what feels like a year ago. They played in the first month of the season twice. Once at home, once on the road. They split 3 games apiece. Nick already had mentioned that it comes down to your divisional record at that point. We are currently 2 games behind them in the divisional record department, but the truth is there's a lot of divisional games left. That could
we have more games than they do.
And that can get swung in a heartbeat. They play the Dodgers 7 more times. They also have to play the Diamondbacks tomorrow. They have to play the Diamondbacks in another 3-game set, and then they finish the year against the Rockies. So far from over. We'll worry about that when we get there. Hopefully the Reds start playing good enough baseball to where they can catch the Mets, and we'll worry about the Giants at another time. I do think the Giants will cool off a little bit at some point, but the Reds are going to have to play really, really well to jump them regardless, so I think that should be the main focus. Putrid Talent says, did Chatterbox have a Discord page? We do have a Discord page. Craig and or Kirby will just throw that in the chat real fast. It's a link you can get in the Discord. Ken says, Trace and Nick, Reds fan from Israel. Thanks for your professionalism. I don't know about that. Consistency. I think that's very true and nice to say. And humor this year on a roller coaster year. How close are we? That's a great question. I don't know how close we are. You don't know how close we are. Nobody knows how. Some days I think we're close. Some days I think we're just completely over our skis, and we are one guy from slumping away from not ever feeling like this team's ever going to get to a spot where they're going to be competitive enough to win. We'll see. If this offense can become competent, they are very close. As long as the pitching doesn't regress, we'll see. But Anquilo the Great says, heard Benson was told to start. Man, we are just crushing Ben. We are crushing Tito or whoever the hell we're talking. Anquilo the Great said, heard Benson was told to start his offseason. Yeah. I mean, there is something about that. Remember when Marte was getting benched? Getting in like the 5th inning, we were 5th or 6th inning, we're putting a defensive replacement for Marte out there after he's hit a home run in the game. Sit on the bench, boy. We don't like guys that hit the ball over the fence around here. Michael Rolfe says, Benson's home run was a rally killer. Anquilo the Great says, I work the graveyard, 9 p to 8 a, and I have Sundays off. Talk to me about buying a Bengals ticket. My wisdom, my long-distance girlfriend is asleep. What? I don't. Was that an inappropriate joke that I just read that I don't even know?
No,
I'm so confused right now.
I just thought that was the most interesting super chat I've seen in a while.
I'm so confused, man. Michael Ross says, what's he say? He says, not giving up Burns for Miller, but you better believe I'd pull a Baltimore Colts and pack the semi-trucks and ship the entire Dragons roster for Miller. Well, that's fair. I don't know. At this point, who knows what's coming and going. Before we get any more super chats, let's do this. From a show perspective, there are some folks that love minor league baseball. Let's jump into Reds MILB when you're ready, Nick, because The amount of super chats I just went through, my brain is it's not really in a good spot right now.
Real quick, someone else was asking about the next tiebreaker, because I guess it is possible that the Reds and Giants could have the exact same record. It then is the rest of the league. So the
National League.
The Reds would lose that because the Reds did great against the American League. The Giants have a significantly better record against the National League as a whole. So,
all right.
So I guess in theory, Trace, the only thing you wouldn't want to do is like sweep the A's and like that be a big bulk of your great play over the last couple weeks. Like, so the A's game, I guess in theory, maybe matter a little less, but every game is like almost
right. You
got to win a lot of these games.
I think it's very realistic that they will not tie in the division somehow. I mean, if they do, they do, and I guess it stinks. But we had our chances to beat the Giants fair and square months ago, and we didn't. So hopefully, we just beat them. Period. There's no tie. All right. Anything else you have before you get into Reds MLB?
Nope.
All right. Take it away.
Well, unfortunately, our Daytona Tortugas playoff game was rained out. They were supposed to play game 1 of the Florida State Division Series. Got postponed because of rain. They're going to play tomorrow, Wednesday night, I guess today at 6:35 against St. Lucie. Then I'll play 3 straight days in a row. No longer an off day. We did have action, though, in AAA. The Louisville Bats, they won 3-0 over Toledo. The Bats have now won 10 straight games. They're 14-1 in their last 15 games. Blake Dunn, 3 for 5, hit his 5th home run. Blake Dunn now hitting .357 over his last 50 games, and the home run hit 419 feet. CES was 2 for 4. CES, he's also playing well of late, hitting .304, 9 extra base hits over his last 13 games. Reese Hines, 2 for 4. Hector Rodriguez, 0 for 4. He struggled a little bit. Did have 1 hard hit ball in the game. And then in the bullpen, Luis May, another scoreless inning. Did give up a walk and a hit, but pitched around it. 9 games for Luis May being optioned. He has a 1.96 ERA, 13 strikeouts, and the thing you really like to see, only 3 walks. Buck Farmer also threw a scoreless inning. Last 12 games for Buck Farmer, has not given up a run. 13 2/3 innings, 0 runs for Buck Farmer. Will Buck get a chance here with the Reds? Down to AA, Chattanooga, they won 4-2 over Rocket City. Win number 69 on the season for our Lookouts. They're 69-60. They, of course, start their playoffs next Tuesday. Edwin Arroyo had a great day, 3 for 4, double and a stolen base. Arroyo hitting .307 in his last 54 games. Cam Collier, 1 for 4. Leo Balcazar, 0 for 4, did walk. Ethan O'Donnell, 1 for 3 with the walk. Ruben Ibarra, Jay Allen, 1 for 4. And that is your Reds MILB. Dayton's done. Ended on a high.
Good for Dayton. Hopefully they enjoyed their time in the was it called the Gym City? I think, I'm not sure.
Gym City, yeah.
Gym City. All right, we got more baseball. Nick, got anything to add before we do the who, what, when, where, and why?
No.
All right, let's jump into that now.
All right, Reds, Padres 8:40 on Wednesday night. Andrew Abbott against Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta having a breakout year, his 9th big league season, 13-5 with a 2.85 ERA. Never had an ERA under 4 before this year. Pitching very well, and pitching well of late, 2.43 ERA over his last 5 starts. And how about this? He's gone 6+ innings in 9 of his last 10 starts. Pretty good contract so far for the Padres. 4-year, $55 million, although he does have an opt-out after next season. Throws up to 7 pitches, mostly relies on a 4-seamer, curve, sweeper, and a cutter. Fastball average is 93.8. Batters really struggling against a sweeper, 152 average. Career 3.41 ERA in 8 games against the Reds, only 4 of those starts. Last year, though, only went 4 1/3, gave up 6 hits and 3 runs, 2 of those homers. Active Reds, though, not pretty numbers against Pivetta. 11 for 60. That's a 183 average. Austin Hayes, 0 for 18 with 6 strikeouts. So if Austin Hayes is in the lineup over Will Benson, we riot. Jose Trevino is 3 for 7. Ellie De La Cruz, 2 for 3 with a homer. And Spencer Steer, 1 for 2 with a homer as well. Andrew Abbott, the lefty for the Reds, last start struggled against the Mets, 9 hits and 4 2/3 innings. Last 3 starts, an ERA of 8.56, 20 hits allowed in 13 2/3 innings. But he's dominated the Padres. 0.92 ERA in 3 starts. Earlier this year, 5 innings, just 1 run at Great American Ballpark. This will be Andrew Abbott's first ever game at Petco Park. So that 0.92 ERA in 3 starts, all at Great American. Active Padres against Abbott are 12 for 52. Machado 1 for 9. Tatis 3 for 9. Cronenworth 1 for 7. Jackson Merrill 1 for 6. And Luis Arraez 2 for 6 with the homer.
The lineup card tomorrow is going to get very toxic. It's going to get very, very toxic on X. I can tell you right now, if there's not some names in that lineup that perhaps many people would expect. I'll just be reading the comments. I'll enjoy it. I'll be watching for it because I fully expect it to be exactly what I expect it to be, which is chaos.
Surely they're going to give Austin Hayes a day off. 0 for 18.
Nope.
0 for 18. 6 strikeouts.
Nope. I'm going to say nope again just to try to put it out there that maybe it will actually be the reverse jinx effect. We shall find out. But I'll admit, folks, did not think that this road trip was going to go all that well based off the fact that last night just did not, it felt like that was the final nail in the coffin. But you know what? We're like the Undertaker. We just keep rising back up. Every time you think we're completely gone, we're completely out, and we're completely dead, here come the Reds. So I just want to say one last time on the way out, if you haven't already, hit the like button. That would be very, very nice of you. Thank you to everybody that obviously tunes in on a nightly basis. And Nick, you have one more thing to add before we go?
Did you get the last super from Putrid Talent?
I did not, and I seen that, and I just want to say thank you, Putrid, for shouting out Craig as well. Craig is doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and he says, Craig, these updated MILB picks are great. So shout out to Putrid for that. Shout out to Craig for updating all the stuff on the back end. And Nick, you got something.
Tiebreaker with the Padres tomorrow. So somehow the Reds got the Padres 6 behind them at the moment. The Reds would win the tiebreaker against the Padres with the win tomorrow.
In a weird way, they got to win tomorrow anyway, just because they got to keep pace for sure. But yeah, it's funny how every game feels like a 100% must win when we already admitted yesterday that they could lose 4, maybe 5 games from now until the rest of the season. But boy, oh boy, it doesn't matter what day it is. It can't be one of those 4 or 5 days that they're supposed to lose. That's how it feels, at least. We'll see.
Yeah.
Something special is going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen or if it's going to happen, but boy, oh boy, it'd be nice to start with what happened tonight. Because this one, I'm not saying they stole it, but this one feels like they kind of found a way to win a game that they otherwise shouldn't or wouldn't have won more times than not. And that is a nice thing to be a Reds fan on situations like that happen. So without rambling anymore, it's late. I also want to say thank you to everybody that wakes up in the mornings and listens to the podcast. If you didn't watch the game, all I got to tell you is that I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to see it. Rolf, one last time. This is the last super chat. He's not going to let you get off the street. Last super chat. I'm telling you right now, it's the last super chat. If you super chat again, we'll try to get to it tomorrow. But on the way out, we're going to let Rolf with his one last one. So here goes nothing. Rolf says, the only name better than Mac Clain is Trace adding Ann to Aquila. Aquila the Great. I do that. He's got me. Maybe it's Ann Quilla. Anyone's guess. Let's get Aquila's girlfriend on the show so he can. What the hell is going on? Let's get Aquila's girlfriend on the show so he can see her while he's working. Nick, hope your wife is feeling okay. Rolf, my man, let's all get some sleep. I can't get through that super chat without figuring out where the hell your stream of consciousness is going, brother. We're one hand, we're here, one hand, we're there, and then the last thing you say is shout out to Nick. Hope his wife's doing well. Hope all of you are doing well. We'll see you all again tomorrow. It'll be another late night edition of Chatterbox Reds, but most importantly, hopefully it's a winning edition of Chatterbox Reds. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you. Hit the like button on the way out.